Welcome back to the RC wrench bench. We are continuing with the RC10SC7 build series, new short course truck. So far things are going together pretty well, only a couple of small hiccups along the way. We're going to be moving on to bag 5, step 1, which is the differential. We are not going to use the ball diff that comes with the kit, and instead we're going to be installing the gear diff. So that's the B7 gear diff right there. If you want a part number, 92491. And I remember in the last short course they had some extra sections in the instructions on some optional parts, and one of them was the gear diff. Of course, I've built lots of gear diffs, but wanted to make sure I was following the instructions. So I went online to the associated website, found their B7 Carpet Edition instruction manual, and just reassured myself that I'm putting this thing together correctly. This looks like a pretty familiar gear diff. Oh, I did notice that it comes with the aluminum cover, so that's great. Usually that's like another, what, 10 or 15 bucks that you have to spend if you want to put that on. Oops, I forgot to get out my slime. So we'll get that out real quick. Oh, and they did include some fluids. I don't know if they included any slime. No, they didn't include any slime. You could always just use a little bit of oil for some of those things if you want. All right, so first up, we're gonna use just a little bit of slime on this O-ring. Don't need much, just a real thin coating. So that clear O-ring is going to go right through the bottom, and then outdrive is going to go right up through there, and just kind of give it a slow spin as you go up, just to minimize the opportunity for any kind of tearing with that O-ring. Next up is one of these larger washers. It sits down over the outdrive. Need a little encouragement to get it in the right spot. There we go. And then you're going to install the pin right over that. So one of these pins, and usually there's kind of a slot in the housing that allows you to have a little extra room. So some small needle nose pliers really does help for getting that through there, but there we go. That looks pretty good. And then we're gonna put on the internal gear, and obviously you're just gonna spin that until it locks in, and when it locks in it'll be level with the top of that gear, not really focusing in the right spot. All right, so I'm just gonna put that aside for now. I'm using a shock building station as something to help me out with that. All right, next up we got the cross pin. It's a plastic or a composite cross pin, and you've got the 4 gears that mount on there, and those mount with the gear facing inward. So obviously one on each post of that cross brace. And then afterward, one of the small washers would follow. If I can get these washers picked up here. There's one. I think in the old design, these flat washers used to be quite a bit larger. Must have been a change in design. All right, So those are on there just like that. And then what I like to do is get a little bit of fluid in the diff before you put those in. I'm using 30 weight, kind of a shot in the dark about what's going to be best. My last gear diff and my short course I had set up with the 2-gear setup with a metal cross pin, and I think I ran 60 weight in that. All right, so after we get just a little bit of oil in there, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in. There we go. So then you're just gonna push that right on down. There we go. That was getting hung up on something. That's better. Good. All right. I'm going to add a little more oil while I build the other half, just so that that can have plenty of time to sit and work itself in. All right, we're going to take the diff cover, just like the plastic gear. I'm going to use just a little bit of slime, coat that O-ring, goes in the outside, and then that out drive is going to go right up through. Washer, and then the pin. Of course, it's a little handier there that you're not trying to install that deep down inside the case. Spin that around until it settles. There we go. All right, and then when you're filling up the oil, you know, my rule of thumb, I think, similar with other folks, is to put enough diff fluid in there so that you're covering at least the cross pins. And so that's what we're going to do here. And 30 weight is not too thick. And if you end up with a little bit extra, what I found is it's pretty easy to remove with just a Q-tip. You can kind of scoop it out. So I've put that in there, and I'm just going to turn the gears a little bit, which will help settle it down and work its way in. Now, some of your hardcore racer guys might say you have to let that sit forever and make sure that you don't have any air in there. I'm not that hardcore. And sometimes I'll use just a little bit of fluid on my hand to just run over the gasket. I think that opens it up a little bit and helps create a better seal. I've never had trouble with associated differentials. Some folks swear that they leak a lot. But I think if you take your time and build them slowly, you're going to be just fine. All right, and so we're going to line up the holes in the diff case with the gasket. And then we're going to install the diff cover kind of in hopefully one quick motion. There we go. something's bound up. There we go. Good. Even though I've been using the electric driver for most of this build, I'm not going to do that with the diff cover screws. If I remember correctly, when this came out, there was some kind of trouble with the diff gears, like leaking, the diff case leaking. And I think it had something to do with not having the hole for the screw all the way through. It looks like maybe they've addressed that. I don't know if that was a change in design or not. So I'm going to tighten these up most of the way, get all 4 of them installed, and then we'll go around and finalize them. All right. Feels nice and smooth. All right, we'll put that off to the side. There's our diff ready to go.